Hello. Um, the art movement that I'm going to be talking about today is photography. Photography was extremely important between around 1820 to 1850. That's where it really began to have influence on art. Um, it followed the Enlightened Romanticism movement, which, as we know, was the medieval tale of adventures. Um, but photography also came prior to realism, which is the display of just ordinary folks doing their own thing. Um, it was not an idealized form of art. It was very simple, and it just kind of displayed the true characteristics of people, and it kind of avoided that godlike portrayal that we saw in like the Renaissance and stuff like that. Um, Photography was seen as a new form of technology back then. It was such a complicated process to get such a fine-tuned photograph to be developed. They had to use toxic chemicals and expose it to the right amount of light. And back then, I mean, it's not like today where we have these digital cameras. Back then, they had to go into complete pitch black darkness, and then they had to expose that kind of the toxic chemicals to light and let it react. And it was just a very drawn out process, and it just made it very hard. Um, it really enforced, it really forced artists to be intelligent and creative with their work because it was so hard to do. Um, but these artists realized that there was so much that could be done with this new medium. Um, so it really did inspire creativity, um, and it just produced a lot of intelligent works and a lot of cool portrayals. Um, One of the people that we see using photography is Timothy O'Sullivan. He traveled around the United States and did explorations, and he took photographs of nature and landscapes. And one of his more famous um, photos is of Iceberg Canyon. And as you can see, he had the right lighting. There was a focus of it, and it was just a very interesting looking photo. Um, but he also experienced a lot of the struggles because of the fact that you have to go through the whole process of making a photo, which was very complicated. But he did that while riding in a wagon and traveling around. So I mean, it was very difficult for him. Another person that we hear from is Nadar. He is very influential in portraits. He had people coming up from all over the world to have their portraits made. And one of his more famous ones is a portrait of French actress Sarah Bernhardt. You can see that she's draped, she's posed. There's good lighting, so he really inspired that in his own way. And another person that we hear from is Julia Margaret Cameron, um, who used portraits as well, but um, she photographed uh, true environments and real environments. So she was one of the pioneers for realism while using photography. So uh, she had a big hand in what realism portrayed. And a very important photo from her is the photo of Paul and Virginia, which is two small children. You can see it there in a struggling home. And that kind of led into what began the realism movement. Thank you all for listening.